Yes, it all started out as a mild curiosity in the junkyard.
There are some corners of the universe which have read the most terrible things.
Go away.
Always remembering, of course, not to reverse the polarity of the neutron.
Change, my dear. It seems on a moment too soon.
Decision.
Don't worry, it's bigger on the inside.
Doctor Who.
Excuse me, do you mind not farting while I'm saying the word?
More of the big I always read the instruction. Kidneys! How can you kidneys?
Would you like a jelly baby?
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Welcome
Welcome
to another episode 204 to be precise, of Doctor Who Time and Space, a weekly father and son Doctor Who podcast with me, Lewis, me,
and me, Dr. Cool.
and basically, if you're unfamiliar, if this is your first show, basically we just talk about Doctor Who. Half of the show is sort of dedicated to news and stuff and talking about what's been happening in the Doctor Who universe this week, and then the other half sort of focused around what we've been doing Doctor Who related, such as, a feature for us and a review of a classic episode.
Sounds good. So, what do we have on this week's show?
Well, this week our main feature will be our discussion of some of the most notable and most notable and recurring monsters from the revived series, which could include Daleks and Cybermen, like last week, but also with the threats that were introduced in New Who. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about new threats, and we'll also be talking about how old threats came back.
Yep.
And how they worked.
We'll be giving our thoughts on the first 4 episodes of the Silurians.
We will be discussing the latest Doctor Who news and views.
And that probably wraps it up, doesn't it, in
Yes.
terms of items this week? Because there's no magic randomiser this week, because the Silurians
Yes.
is a 7-parter,
It
so
is.
we'll watch that over 2 weeks. Usually we just have a little brief discussion around what exciting things, Who or other geekiness related that we've both been up
Okay.
to. What have you been up to this week, Mr. Moon?
I've been up to a couple of things Doctor Who related, but not much. Not as much as some Who fans, but I did watch Fires of Pompeii for the second time, so
Okay.
I'd only watched it once before.
What was your thoughts on it? Because I've never seen that one.
It
That's
was
one I've not
actually
seen.
really good. It's
Yeah?
actually a very good episode.
Yeah.
Um,
10th Doctor.
Yes, Donna. She's okay in that one.
Donna.
She's okay in that one.
Yeah. Of course,
No.
that's probably the Donna annoyance factor is probably knocked on the head through the introduction of Capaldi.
Yes. I mean, he is, he's in that one, and it's very weird watching that.
Yeah.
I must say that it's all about basically, the Vesuvius, not the
eruption.
the eruption.
Yeah.
Yeah. And about how Donna wants to save all of the people,
Okay.
And we later find out why the Doctor chose the face of Cecilius in The Girl Who Died.
Yeah. No, that's right.
Yeah, which is
The-
very clever fact.
So it's the Doctor. I mean, I have to say I've not seen this one, and excuse me with the spoiler warning if for anyone that hasn't. But presumably, then is the Doctor saying that it's a fixed point in time and that he can't do anything about it? Is that the?
Yeah, I don't want to spoil
Just it.
anything for the episode, really.
Okay. Yeah. I will watch it, no doubt. At some point or other, it will show up on the randomizer.
It will.
Hopefully not for a few weeks, because I don't suppose
Hopefully
you'd want to
not
watch
next.
it again.
No, I don't want
Yet,
to watch
for a
it
while.
straight away.
Yeah.
So,
Anything
No.
else? You carried on with your Big Finish.
audios, yes, Big Finish. I'll talk about what I was listening to this week, but whilst I get onto it, there's a sale at the moment on Jago and Lightfoot.
Ooh,
It's £10.
really?
Jago and Lightfoot Series 1. Do
Oh,
you
okay.
recommend
You tempted?
I get it? Should
Yeah, I
I?
think you should give it a go.
I want to listen to those.
Yeah, give it a
Yeah.
go. See what it's like.
It's on a weekend with sales. So.
Yeah, fantastic.
But no, this week I was continuing to listen to The Girl Who Never Was.
Yep.
Only one part left of that one. So 3 parts watched, because all the Big Finish stories are usually 4 parts. It's quite an enjoyable one. Not one of the best I've listened to.
No.
Not as good as Marshful, which was the last one Mistful, sorry, that I listened to last.
What's your favourite one you've got so far?
I really did like the Christmas one.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd like to thank Terra Firma though, because that was the first proper one I brought.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that. What was a disappointing one?
Mhm.
Probably the worst one. Signs of Time, the first ever Big Finish with Peter Davidson, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy.
Okay.
Just found it a bit boring.
Yeah.
It just hadn't found its feet yet, and
Yeah.
such a shame. The 4th part was good, where they all unite, but other than that, it was just a bit
Not
boring.
the best one.
Not
Okay.
the best one. It sort of had a bit of a shallow plot, and
Yeah.
I didn't really like it that much.
Can't all be good, I guess.
No, I mean,
Is it sort of Rings of Akatan? If you were
Yeah.
placing it, if you were doing a table.
yeah, I want to like it more than I.
Yeah,
Do.
you get that sometimes, don't you?
Yeah.
Things where you do want to like it, but
Yeah,
can't bring yourself to.
I know. Maybe I should download Zagreus too, which was sort of a bit different, I think.
Yeah.
Because it had them all as different characters.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's got like Peter Davidson, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Paul McGann, but they're not playing the Doctor. All of them
Okay.
are not playing the Doctor.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
That is interesting.
I think John Pertwee is the Doctor. So,
Okay,
or
that
he's
is
in it a little bit. As
Are
the
they meant to
Doctor.
be the Doctor in a roundabout way?
I don't know. I haven't listened to it,
Yeah.
but they're all different characters. Paul McGann's Zagreus,
Yeah.
and like all of the companions, like Lala Ward's in it. I think Elizabeth Sladen's in it, and Nicholas Courtney and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And they're all different characters.
That'd be really interesting to hear, wouldn't it?
It will be,
Yeah, that
yeah.
would be a good one to get, definitely.
Yeah, I think that'll be soon. I'll
Yeah.
download that. My
Brilliant.
May audio, I usually listen to one a month.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Well,
Anything else to report on the...
yeah, I was
I
just
think
going to
that-
ask you, what big, are there any big finishes that you would like to see, listen to?
I would like to hear... I would be interested in the Jago and Lightfoot ones.
Yeah.
But also, I would be very interested to hear the War Doctor ones.
Yeah.
Because and particularly with the sad passing of John Hurt, I think it would be nice to hear some more War Doctor.
Yeah. If there's any sales on classic Doctor's New Monsters as well, I'd buy that one.
Yeah, no,
happily,
definitely.
because that looks brilliant.
It definitely makes sense to go for a Jago Lightfoot one whilst they're on sale.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's only the first one that's on sale, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's the 40th anniversary of Jago and Lightfoot since Talons
Really?
of Weng Chiang.
Crumbs.
Yeah, so they've got all the deals on. They're doing a Jago and Lightfoot short trips, which is meant to be them with the 10th Doctor, obviously without David Tennant.
Ah, okay.
But
How does that work then?
it's just a bit like a narrated one, I think.
Oh, I see.
Or
yeah.
they always do them. They do them every month. They
Yeah.
do them focusing around a character
Oh, I see.
meant to
Okay.
be in that position. So that's it, I think, for what we've been doing this week. Unless you've got anything else to say.
I mean, I've been with the usual things for me.
Oh yeah, I forgot
You
about
forgot
you.
about me, yeah, it's only me. I'm only your co-host. I mean, I haven't done anything Doctor Who related, but carrying on with The Walking Dead, and it started to build up a little bit this week.
Yeah.
It's been quite a slow series as it goes. It's been enjoyable still, but not the best series, I'd say.
No.
But beginning to build up now. And I think I mentioned last week that I'd been started to rewatch Game of Thrones again.
Yes.
And getting through that exciting first season
Yes.
again. So enjoying that. But I think that's probably I watched Pee-wee's Big Holiday, which is
Yeah.
fantastic as well. I'd definitely recommend that
Yeah.
to
Okay.
people.
Fans of the Pee Wee movie.
Yeah, we will of course start a Pee-wee Herman podcast next week.
What will it be called?
Called Pee Wee's Big Podcast.
Yeah. Okay, so is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I think we can probably crack on with the news.
Okay, yeah, we've got quite a few bits of smaller news this week, so let's dive in. So this week coming up, got a couple of new images from the new series release, which we'll touch on later. Got a few new Doctor rumours and some people responding to that.
Oh, brilliant! I've not seen any news this week at all, so all of this is news to me.
Yeah, it must be. We've also got. Let me just look through my news page here. Some new chat show news.
Okay.
And we've got some comic relief stuff.
Okay. Fine. What are you going to kick off with first?
I'm going to start off with some new Doctor rumours responded. A few weeks ago we mentioned Chris Marshall.
Did we?
The ginger guy.
Oh yeah.
And now he's responded to the rumours.
Okay.
And they've sort of, I haven't read this that much, but it's become less likely, I believe.
Okay.
So Chris has been talking. So ever since it was announced Peter Capaldi will be stepping down at the end of 2017, there's been lots of talk about who his successor may be. Peoples of the interest and bookies alike have been tossing around names of likely candidates. One name that kept cropping up was Chris Marshall. After the actor announced his exit from Death in Paradise, many people working at the rumour mill saw this as a sign that the actor was freeing himself up to take on the role of the 13th Doctor. After weeks of speculation, Marshall has finally spoken about the rumours. In an interview with the Herald Sun, he said he was very flattered to be considered by the good public as the next Doctor, before adding, "I wouldn't put any money on it yet."
Yeah.
However, he did agree that it was more likely for him to become the next Doctor than the next James Bond.
Okay. Was he was the guy where the bookies had stopped taking bets at one point, weren't they?
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Still think that's quite a high chance then.
There is quite a hard chance. I just think tiny bit less likely.
Yeah, and maybe they're just trying to throw the people off the scent.
Maybe they are.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a good Doctor though. He
does look it, doesn't he? He's got that sort of eccentric-y sort of
He
look,
does,
doesn't he?
yeah. He looks a bit. He feels like a Doctor, you know.
Yeah.
I'd be happy for him to be the Doctor, I think.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, is Sacha Dhawan, who, by the way, in other news was announced for the London Comic Con. So if he is announced as the next Doctor, will be very exciting.
Yeah.
He's been talking about next Doctor rumours because he was in the bookies' favourite right from the start. And he said that he would be interested in taking on the role of the Doctor once Peter Capaldi steps down from the role at the end of this year. The actor is one of several to be linked in to the role in recent weeks, with other rumoured names including Tilda Swinton, Olivia Colman and Chris Marshall. When asked by Radio Times if he'd consider playing the Doctor's next incarnation, Dhawan replied, "Oh my god, I'd absolutely love to. I so would love to." By the way, he did appear in an adventure in space and time.
Oh, did he?
I think he played Waris Hussein? Was it? No. Not Waris Hussein. The producer, I think.
Okay, yeah.
He is a black guy, so...
Yeah. I can't think who he is now. I can't think who he is in the picture.
I'll type him in.
Yeah.
Wait.
I know we did look at a lot of these people. I'm so bad at all my celebrities. I never know who's who. But do I remember him?
You know he was in Sherlock recently.
Yeah.
In the latest series.
So actually, if Stephen Moffat was still on board, it may have. I remember him. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Him. Yeah. That'd be a good appointment as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah. He's also said, I've worked with Doctor Who writer Mark Gatiss quite a lot, and I think I'd bring something really exciting to it. It'd be incredibly nerve-wracking to do it, to be honest. It's quite a lot of pressure. When the list came out, I was so honoured, really, that I was even considered. And that alone was kind of good enough. But who wouldn't want to do it? It's Doctor Who. If cast as the 13th Doctor, oh yeah, I was right, Dewan would be no stranger to the world of Doctor Who, having previously starred as director Boris Hussein in Mark Gatiss's 50th anniversary docudrama An Adventure in Space and Time, which is amazing if you haven't watched it.
Yeah.
However, despite his eagerness to take on the role, Dewan believes that in fact it's now time for a woman to play the Doctor. I think generally with Doctor Who, whether it's of race or of gender, I think it's time that we celebrate that it should maybe be something different. I don't know what the answer is. I guess it's the right person for the job, but I think it's time to flip the character on its head slightly, and I feel that'll very much happen this year, whether or not it'll be someone of race or gender.
Yeah, I think there's a big chance of that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I personally think it should be a female now. I'm keen to see what the bee do. I mean, we've been talking a lot about the next Doctor because obviously there's two bits of major things that keep cropping up in the news. Rumours of who will be the new Doctor for the Chibnall era.
Yeah.
And that doesn't sound right now. It doesn't sound like the Moffat era, the Chibnall era. That's weird. And also the other news is Series 10 news. We've also, you know, as we were saying there, it's highly likely there could be a female Doctor in the role. And that's been one of our main sort of talks. We've sort of become more... we've sort of liked the idea a bit more, I think.
Yeah.
Who?
How many weeks of Who have we got? How many are in the series? It's 13?
12.
12. Okay.
And a Christmas special.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, no, I was just wondering.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we move on then?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay.
Lethbridge Stewart novel?
No, I
No?
don't think so.
Ah.
Okay, 2 new images have been released in Empire magazine for the new series of Doctor Who. This is the first one. It's sort of like a promotional image.
Okay.
It's not the full version of the image, but there are basically the image is the Doctor standing in the sort of normal pose Capaldi poses in. The sort of Pertwee pose, I would call it.
Hanging out of the TARDIS by the looks of it.
Yeah, surrounded by Daleks.
Yeah.
So, obviously, this week it was officially confirmed, although we knew it, officially confirmed that the Daleks would appear in episode 1, and it would be, you know, with them in.
That is confirmed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's definitely that one.
Is it actually... Do we know for a fact that it's going to be a Dalek episode, or could it be that it's just Daleks in it?
I typed it in. If I type in...
Because
Doctor...
you could potentially have it that there's a very small backstory with the Daleks in.
I bet that'll be how they get into the plot, but it might go off into something else.
Yeah.
I'm actually, if there's Mavellians, like rumoured, I'm hoping that it will be a Mavellian and Dalek war, but I'm reckoning that'll be a flashback or something.
Yeah. I quite like the idea. You know, I've sort of had this theory that possibly that water thing, that water creature, which is an exterminate in the trailer, maybe that it actually takes on, sort of like drowns its sort of prey and takes on part of its persona. And I wonder whether maybe we found something more powerful than the Daleks here. That'd be quite cool, wouldn't it? Something that defeats the Daleks, and other than the Doctor.
Okay, Radio Times say Doctor Series 10 to open with Dalek episode.
Okay.
So do you think that means it's definitely a Dalek episode?
Yeah, they might still not be the main emphasis on it. I agree with them. We were listening to, was it the Big Blue Box podcast last week, weren't we? And they were, one of the guys on there was saying about he hopes it isn't the Daleks because we had the Daleks last time.
Yeah.
And I do tend to sort of agree with that to a certain extent, but
I notice whenever someone says something on a podcast, it's usually announced the next week that it's different than that.
yeah,
Like us and Radio Free Scar often do it. They said it would definitely be called A Star in Her Eye, and then the next day it's announced as the pilot.
yeah.
Well, Dassie and Simon were similar when they did that.
And it's done to make you feel stupid as well, because generally these things don't go out live, do they? So you
No.
record them and then edit it and get it out afterwards. So
Yeah.
there we have it.
Other image released was one of the Doctor and Nardole.
Okay.
And Nardole in this picture is holding a sonic screwdriver, which is the Fourth Doctor's, as we've seen in the trailer previously. So they're in the TARDIS.
I've got a feeling he's just going to stumble upon that. He's just going to find
Yeah.
it somewhere in there.
Do we presume that's from episode 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What's your thinking on the sonic screwdriver? Are you thinking that
fan
Nardole...
service.
Yeah, I think there is a bit of fan service there, but do you think Nardole's going to be making use of it throughout the series?
Hopefully. Maybe it's, like Sarah Jane has a sonic lipstick and stuff,
she, yeah.
and things like that. Other people have, I think River Song has a sonic screwdriver, doesn't she? Other people have sonic screwdrivers,
Yeah.
so Nardole may keep it if he
Yeah.
survives out this series, which I think he will. Then
I've got
he'll keep it.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
And it's a big aside from the news.
Okay.
But if you had a sonic anything, what would your sonic be? If you could have sonic lipstick, glasses, and screwdrivers, would you get? But you could have anything you wanted.
Sonic hat.
Sonic hat would be quite cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonic camera, I think.
Yeah.
That'd be quite cool.
The Sonic pen.
Yeah, Sonic pen. Yeah.
Sonic sunglasses, they're quite good because I was, they're just, using your eyes to do, using the,
Oh, yeah,
but I just don't, it's a bit silly.
I quite like the Sonic sunglasses. I think
Yeah.
they've had a rough deal.
Well, you're happy, but you'll be happy because they're back this
They're
series
back, yes.
a couple of times.
Yeah.
What do you think of the 2 new images? I mean, nothing
they're
much
good.
in them, but good to see some stuff. And we're reckoning we should get a trailer or something this week
That's
for
your thoughts,
pilot.
isn't it? Your
I
thoughts.
believe we'll get a trailer for the pilot this week or next week.
Yep.
So should be exciting.
Cool.
And series 10 is, the wait is almost over. 3 weeks time we'll be watching
3
the pilot
weeks, cool.
and anticipating that
Yeah.
heavily.
Excellent.
Let's move on then. As I said, we've got quite a few bits of news this week. We were talking last week that the pilot is airing in various places in cinemas. We've been announced now that the pilot is going to be aired in New Zealand cinemas too.
Okay. So everywhere bar the UK.
Yeah.
Really, then.
So New Zealand Movie and Cinema Guide Flicks has indicated that the new series premiere, the pilot, will be shown in cinemas around the country on 16th of April 2017. Further details on the cinema release will be released shortly because we don't really know much about the New Zealand cinema release.
Yep.
We don't really know as much as the other one. We don't know time. We don't know the special features and stuff like that. What we do know, the episode's premiere on television has yet to be confirmed by Prime, which is where they show it on New Zealand.
Okay, yeah.
But based on previous broadcasts, the series is expected to air on Sundays around 7:30 p.m. Do you think times then? whenever the synopsis comes out, which I'm guessing usually 2 weeks before an episode comes out,
Yeah.
the synopsis comes out, meaning that this week we should get a synopsis.
Yeah.
For next week's podcast, hopefully we'll be talking about that.
Exciting, won't it be?
Yeah.
It'll be the first time we really get the feeling that
Yeah.
the new season's on its way.
And usually when that happens, we get a synopsis every week.
Yeah.
At least one every week. Times then. I mean, timing usually varies for Doctor Who series.
Yeah.
What do you think's the perfect time for Series 10 to air?
I think about 7:30.
Me too. I think 7:30 is a brilliant time. Perfect timing. And then it would end around 8:15.
Yeah.
Or 8:30 if it's the finale, or depend. We don't really know. I wonder if the opener will be an hour or 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Guess it would just be 45 minutes.
It's going to be quite a lot to fit in though, isn't there? If they're going to get
It
the Daleks
will.
in there and they've got to try and introduce Bill in.
Yeah. There will be a few things they have to do.
Yeah.
If it's not a two-parter, it's not a two-parter.
Yeah.
So, they have to do it really quickly, and I have a feeling if it's not an hour, it'll be really rushed. Okay, let's move on then. Doctor Who and the microbit.
Okay.
So, Doctor Who has been used many times for educational purposes,
Yep.
as you may be aware, to teach children and adults sometimes about things, usually technology and new technological things.
Yep.
You may be familiar of microbits.
Okay.
Have you heard of them?
Yep. I have seen you. I'm not sure
They're
what they are.
programming things.
Yeah.
Basically, this coming week, we'll see Doctor Who's latest contribution as part of the BBC's Learning Microbit Innovative.
Innovation.
Innovative. Sorry?
Innovative.
Yeah. With a live lesson taking place from 11 a.m. on the 28th of March. The Time Lord, the TARDIS and the Microbit. The BBC Microbit will be put to the test at the controls of the TARDIS in this special live lesson in collaboration with the team behind Doctor Who. The lesson is aimed at 11 to 13-year-olds and is devised around computational thinking skills. We'll be exploring algorithms, different types of errors, and the components that go into an algorithm.
Ooh.
With guest experts from the fields of web search and computer gaming. Using their BBC Microbit, students will be challenged to solve a fictional disaster scenario while coming face to face with one of the Doctor's deadliest foes.
Sounds good.
The BBC Microbit is a tiny computer processor designed to be used to teach coding concepts to children, with the BBC Live lessons providing interactive participation in the classroom. Sessions are created for both primary and secondary schools, incorporating scientific, cultural and entertainment themes with the aim to make learning to code fun.
A good idea.
It is, yeah. Full details of Doctor Who lesson can be found via the BBC's lesson website, and the live session will be available to review via the BBC iPlayer afterwards.
Oh, okay, that's cool, isn't it?
So
I like
that's this coming Tuesday, the 28th.
Yeah.
Have
you got any way of doing it or not?
Sorry?
Have you got any way of doing it?
I probably won't, no.
No.
Unless... No.
Probably not. Okay.
No. Thoughts? Any thoughts?
I just think that's a really good idea. Really
is, yeah.
good way of using Doctor Who to try and help education. I think that's good.
It is.
Yeah.
Move on then. New Doctor Who chat show.
Oh.
Now, I don't think this is coming to the UK, sadly, but Australian broadcaster ABC have announced a new half-hour panel show to tie in with the forthcoming 10th series of Doctor Who. Based around fans of the show, Whovians will be shown on Sunday evenings from 16th of April at around 8:30 p.m. on BBC ABC2/iView, straight after the latest episode has been broadcast on ABC.
Okay.
Sunday nights are about to get a whole lot more galactic as Rove McManus and his team of superfans present a brand new half-hour panel show to dissect, delve into and delight in the world of Doctor Who. And straight after the weekly premiere of the much anticipated Doctor Who Series 10 on ABC, Whovians will be filmed in front of a live studio audience and air on Sundays at 8:30 p.m. on ABC2 and iView. As well as unpacking the recent episode, Rove and the team will open the doors of the TARDIS and go back to through the annals of time to lovingly analyse, critique and unravel the mysteries of the much-loved, globally renowned series. Rove is a long-time Doctor Who enthusiast and will be joined by other self-confessed Doctor Who superfans, Tegan Higgins-Botham, Adam Richard and Stephen Badjo O'Donnell. The only one there who has a normal name is Adam Richard, as well as a roster of celebrity guests. This is a show by Whovians, but one that won't exclude the rest of humanity. So get ready to get on board, #WhoviansOU. Fans who wish to be part of the audience are invited to register their interest via doctorwho.audience@abc.net.au.
Brilliant.
Finally in the news, any thoughts on that, by the way?
No, it's a shame that we haven't got a similar sort of thing here, because you tend to get that with a lot of programmes now, don't you?
You do, yeah.
Sort of, you watch the programme, then you listen for longer than the programme of somebody talking about the programme you just watched.
Yeah, we used to have Doctor Confidential, didn't we?
Of course, yeah.
And that used to be good.
Yeah.
It was longer than this. It was the same length, if not longer, than Doctor Who.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Which, you know, going behind the scenes of an episode doesn't really need to be longer.
Yeah.
But final news then. Comic Relief, which happened yesterday,
Yep.
is offering the first opportunity ever created to enjoy full English breakfast in the company of 7 doctors. So we heard about this last week, but
Yeah.
we didn't talk about it. The Walsley on Piccadilly will be hosting this landmark meal where, for the first time in the show's 54-year history, Peter Davidson, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Paul McGann, David Tennant, Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi will meet to break bread and talk TARDIS. Here inside its hallowed hall, the meal of meals will take place. An epic event, a world first, and a legendary opportunity to witness history in the making. To win the chance to join them on this remarkable morning, you need to enter the prize draw. £5 enters your name into the pot for a chance to join the 7 doctors for what is being described as the most historic breakfast in the history of television.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
The meet and greet will take place between September 2017 and May 2018. Comic Relief will give you as much notice as possible once the date is confirmed. The prize has been kindly donated by the actors and the Wolsey. If you want to enter that or go into or learn more about any of the stuff we've been chatting about today, go to the show notes, the podcast show notes, Doctor Time and Space page at Mr. Lewis Moon Adventures.weebly.com. You can also find that at the section which says 2017's Doctor Who blog. You can find the Doctor Who news round, which will talk about that, and also last week's announcement of a 3-parter announced for Series 10. So that's it for news today.
Okay.
Anything you want to talk about for the Doctors thing, the breakfast with
No,
7
I think
Doctors?
again it's a really good idea. I think really good way
Yeah.
of making money. I think when we looked at it the other day, we thought it was based on whoever puts the biggest bid in.
Yeah.
This sounds a lot more fair. It
Yeah.
sounds like it's basically a £5 entry fee, and then it's random. From
Yeah. Okay, so that's it then. More news next time. But 7 really interesting bits of news.
Yeah, some good news there.
A lot of it to digest this week, really.
Yeah, that's right.
And we're coming up to Series 10 now, so we should have some really exciting stuff coming soon.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, should we crack on with on to the next bit then?
Yes, we shall do. And next up, we will be talking New Who monsters in monster analogy. Okay, so last week we did something, the return of monster analogy, and we talked about classic monsters that were introduced. So half of that article was about monsters which appeared in both Classic Who and New Who, and their sort of how they fared in Classic Who stories that they were in. And the other half was all about the monsters that just appeared in Classic Who and some of our favourite and most notable villains which only appeared in the Classic series. Today we're going to be talking about New Who, and we're going to be doing a similar thing. If you enjoyed this article, make sure you tune into episode 203 where you can see this article in Classic Who wise. Today we're talking all New Who though, and we're going to be looking at some of the... we're going to be doing exactly the same thing. So should we start with the Daleks?
Yep, let's start with the Daleks.
Okay, so talked about the Daleks last week, and we discussed that the Daleks were a major part in some eras of Classic Who, but not in a few others. In New Who, they've appeared in every series. A couple of series have included cameo roles of Daleks. However, it's sort of like a now they have to use the Daleks, don't they?
Is that true, or is that a rumour?
I'm sure it's true.
It sounds like it probably is true
because
they're always there.
They are always there in every... I mean, you can understand why they'd be there every couple of series. I mean, obviously, Chibnall will want to do a story in his first series with the Daleks.
I would imagine so, yeah.
And then after that, he might get a bit bored of writing for them, for example.
It's difficult to keep them fresh. I'll be intrigued to see what they've done this time round. Try and keep them fresh.
If it's not a cameo appearance, then... if it is a cameo appearance, then it doesn't necessarily need to be that fresh.
Yeah.
But hopefully, if it is not a cameo appearance, then it needs to be a really new idea for the Daleks, like they've done with Magician's Apprentice, was focusing about Davros. Into the Dalek was going inside a Dalek, a good Dalek.
Silent was quite a different take on it as well.
That was,
Whereas I would say, I mean, I've not seen the Winston Churchill one, but I would imagine that seems like it's more of a sort of a bog standard.
It is a typical Dalek story, one of the worst ones.
And probably the Manhattan one is quite a typical one as well.
Yeah,
really, isn't it? I know it tries to bring some sort of new thing in with it, with the Dalek hybrid.
But it fails.
Yeah.
And
so what they called it? Hybrid?
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, no, you couldn't say any others really. The others are focusing around different things. Really.
Yeah.
Army of Ghosts, Dalek Sideman War.
Yeah.
Jenny's End is Davros.
Yeah. I tell you what, anyone that's listened to the podcast before has no doubt disagreed with me on my thoughts of the first Return of the Daleks, Dalek.
Yeah.
And although I do think it is an overrated episode, and it's not one of my favourites by any means, what I would say about it is that I think it's a really interesting idea.
It is very different.
Brought back that one single Dalek.
Yeah.
I thought that was really clever.
I'd like to say I really do like Dalek.
Yeah.
So, Decool does like it, but he thinks it's a bit overrated. I think it's a tiny bit overrated, but I'm fairer with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't come into my top 10 or top 20 or anything anywhere near that, but you know, Decool isn't that fair with it.
Apparently not. That's what you think, isn't it? I came up with this idea the other week, didn't I? So again, going off on a bit of a tangent, but when one day we get to the end of the randomizer, which will be quite a few years' time, that perhaps what we should think about doing is reevaluate those overrated, underscored ones. So maybe we'll do that. Sorry, that is off on a tangent. What do you think then of the Return of the Daleks generally You happy with them? How they do them?
I like the ones where they do them differently, the ones we noted about. Some fail at it though.
Yeah.
Don't like them in Victory. You know, there are some Dalek stories which aren't that great.
Yeah.
Should we talk about 3 favourite New Who Dalek stories?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Asylum, Magician's Apprentice.
I would certainly agree with those two.
Mm,
Do you know? I think I would, although I do think it's overrated. I would probably go for Dalek
me too, yeah.
as well, just because it's the one that introduces them back into it.
Yeah, I'd say Dalek.
So,
Yeah.
it still surprises me that when they came up with the Doctor Who movie, the Paul McGann movie, that they didn't choose the Daleks as the main enemy.
I think it would have been a bit more successful.
Mm.
Because the Daleks are, you know, the Master was sort of, no offence to Eric Roberts, but he was rubbish. So he just looked.
Yeah.
Not. I bet Eric Roberts has turned off now.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
But,
Moving along then to probably the second biggest major enemy in the Whoniverse, which I would say is probably the Cybermen.
yeah.
What's your take on how New Who has managed the Cybermen?
I'm sorry to say, apart from a select couple of stories, New Who doesn't really succeed with the Cybermen.
No.
I don't really like the Cybermen. You know, they've sort of failed a little bit. I think the 60s Cybermen were the highlighted Cybermen. They've become a bit more metal now, a bit more mechanic, and I don't like that.
No, they're more like, they remind me of the Stormtroopers now.
Yeah.
They are, and that works really well for the Stormtroopers. But the whole thing with the Cybermen is,
Yeah.
I like the fact that they used to look very man-like.
Yeah, I mean, there are some which really weren't great, like Closing Time and Nightmare and Silver in recent years. Those sort of failed the Cybermen a lot. Dark Water, Death in Heaven probably is the best Cyberman story in New Who, because they're actually really scary in that one.
Certainly in the first
Really,
part, aren't they?
Yeah, no, they're just threatening in all of it because of, you know, they're just... Not in the last few minutes of Death in Heaven, not in the last half of Death in Heaven, but in the first half of Death in Heaven,
Yeah.
they are really frightening.
They're still defeated a bit more easily than you think they should be.
Yeah, they are. What do you think of some of the RTD episodes of the Cybermen? Because they're not really used as much as the Daleks in New Who.
No, I'm not a big lover of RTD's representation of the Cybermen.
No.
To be honest, all the one I like the is it Army of Ghosts? On
Yeah.
there, where they're coming through from the other universe. I sort of like the concept.
Wait,
of that.
Rise to the Cybermen, do you mean?
It might be the one where
which-
they see these ghosts.
Oh no, that's Army of Ghosts, yeah.
Yeah. I like the concept of that one
Yeah, with
better
the
than the
Dalek
story
War.
itself.
Yeah.
Is that the one with the Daleks in as well?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. There's some very funny lines between the Cybermen
Yeah.
and the Daleks, but that's probably the best thing about it.
I quite like that one, but I think there are some things that annoy me about it. Top 3 Cybermen stories in New Who, I'd say Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel, not in this order, actually in order, Dark Water, Death in Heaven, Rise of the Cybermen, Age of Steel, Army of Ghosts, Doomsday.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you on that.
Okay.
But those two that you mentioned, the latter two, aren't that high on my list, which probably shows
Yeah, but
my thinking of the Cybermen, which is a shame because actually they were probably my favourite villains when I was growing up.
Hopefully the one with the Mondasians in will sort of lighten our mood on them a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
The odd thing about it is I remember the Cybermen really, really well from when I was growing up, but actually they weren't in it that much in the 70s, were they?
They were only in it
Twice, were they? No, once. Once in the 70s, and then quite early on with Peter Davison with Earthshock.
Yeah, 3 times in the 80s.
Yeah.
Once in the 70s. Wow.
It's odd when you think that's the glory years, really, isn't it?
And Daleks, well, in the Tom Baker era, the Daleks only appeared 2 times and the Cybermen only appeared once.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's right.
7 years.
Yep.
That's how little they use these monsters. Who should we move on to next then?
I'll tell you who I'd like to move on to
Yeah.
next. Again, it's a classic monster which we've now seen a few times in New Who, which is
Yeah.
the Zygons.
Yeah, I was going to talk about those.
Which I think they've really done a good job of bringing the Zygons.
They have, yeah. The Zygons are fantastic, and
Yeah.
they look exactly like the old ones.
They've kept the pretty much the look of them, haven't they? They've
Yeah.
managed to make them look possibly even more scary, albeit that first time when you see a Zygon in the Zygon invasion, I think it's the first time we see him anyway, when Harry sees it.
Terror of the Zygons.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
it's-
Terror of the Zygons. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
brilliant, isn't it?
It's like got his mouth open,
Yeah.
like really shocked.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I love that.
it's a really good scene.
Best Zygon episode.
Should we count classic here?
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah.
Should I order them?
Yeah. Go on then.
Zygon invasion version.
Yeah.
Terror of the Zygons.
Uh-huh.
In terms of actual Zygon moments,
Yeah.
Day of the Doctor.
Okay. Yeah.
But the episode-wise, Day of the Doctor, episode-wise it would be opposite, and sadly, Terror of the Zygons would be last.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay. Right. Let me see. What should we go to next? How about? I'll tell you, would be an interesting one to look
Yeah.
at. Would be the Sontarans, because
Yeah.
we've seen them in both good and bad forms.
yeah, I think sadly the Sontarans have also failed in
Mhm.
New
Yeah.
Who. They look okay, really. I mean, okay, not
Yeah.
that great. They look quite similar to their classic Who.
Yeah.
But slightly different. It just doesn't work. I mean, Strax, he's really good character. He's really funny.
Yeah.
It's really entertaining. However, I think he's sort of ruined the Sontarans. We've talked about this a few times, but he has ruined the Sontarans.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with you. And it's a shame because, as you say, he's a good character. He's a fun character,
Yeah.
and he's great to have in the stories.
He is.
But I wish, in a way, that he wasn't a Sontaran.
No, I wish
He could have been like a similar race, like a related race to the Sontarans that look similar. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not even sure. Can you remember why it is that he's become good?
It was for punishment. He had to He had to
Yeah.
be a nurse.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. See, I don't think that's what would happen. I think as punishment, the Sontarans would have killed him.
Well, no, it's a glory to die for the Sontaran race.
I see. And that's
But
why.
it's punishment because helping people.
Okay.
Because they enjoy war, don't they?
Yeah.
And they enjoy death.
Yeah.
And they don't mind death, really.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. What about? Should we move on and think a little bit about some of the monsters we've seen that have been introduced during New Who?
Yeah. Okay. Weeping Angels.
That's gotta be the
Weeping
biggie,
Angels.
isn't it?
Yeah, it has to
Weeping
be
Angels.
the main one
Yeah.
that was introduced, which they are really, really good villains
I think the Weeping Angels now stand there
with the Daleks.
with the Daleks
Cybermen.
and the Cybermen,
Yeah.
as the best monsters of all time in Who history.
And
to be
sort
honest.
of the ones that are named, when you go somewhere, people
Mhm.
always think of Daleks, Cybermen, and the Weeping Angels as the monsters that they know.
Yeah. Do you think, before we get on to talking about the Weeping Angels in a bit more detail, do you think there are any other monsters from the New Who period that would revival them at all?
No, I wouldn't, but I think the Silents are quite major New Who villains.
Mhm.
I think they're quite notable, and the Ood as well,
Yeah.
as monsters.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
although they don't rival the Weeping Angels, but they're probably the most famous other New Who creations.
Yeah. I mean, if I was going to be critical of New Who, and particularly Moffat's era, I think the villain is often underplayed in a lot of the stories.
It is, although it leads way to some great character development.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
And it's brilliant how they focus on characters instead of monsters most
But
times.
I can't see there be many monsters from out of this era, out of the New Who era, full stop, that are going to, are going to come back and people will think, oh wow, they're back.
Yeah. Like if they do a revived series,
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
third run of Doctor Who,
Yeah.
I don't think there's, apart from Weeping Angels, I don't think there'll be like many returning monsters from new. There might be like the Macra where they appear in a small role
Yeah.
or something.
So, thinking then about the Weeping Angels again for a second, and perhaps we'll pick back up on the other issue in a minute. What would you say are the Weeping Angels' finest hours?
I would what in episodes?
Yeah.
I'll order their appearances.
Okay.
So I'd say third, Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone.
Yeah.
Second, Angels Take Manhattan. First, Blink.
Yeah. So actually, when you look at it, they've only been in 3 stories full, haven't they?
They've appeared
been
in
in
cameos.
Yeah, I'm still not really sure. I don't really like cameos of
No.
creatures very much.
Time of the Doctor and Hellbent they've also appeared in, but only in very, very small roles.
Yeah, yeah. And then also, obviously, we saw them at the end of Class.
Of course, yeah. Which we'll probably never find out what happened.
Never find out what happened.
I thought we'd stop talking about Class.
Oh, we'll never stop talking about Class.
Oh. Okay. Favourite Weeping Angel moment.
I think actually that first time when the first sort of attack you see in Blink.
Where they're
Just-
all around the TARDIS.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I think that's really good. Quite unnerving, really. I think
It is, yeah.
the Weeping Angels, very very good, very good. Really different idea.
It is.
Yeah.
Any other monsters you'd like to focus on? Ood or Silence? Do you want to talk about them?
You see, I mean the Ood we've seen a few times. Haven't we? 3
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah.
We've seen. When did we see the
Although
Ood?
cameos as well, I think. A
Yeah.
few times. We've seen them, actually 4 times. We've seen them. We only saw them in a little bit of the End of Time, so I won't count that.
Yeah.
But they've appeared in Planets the Ood,
Mhm.
the Beast Two-Parter,
Yeah.
and the Doctor's Wife.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna.
And Pond Life.
Yeah. Okay, out of the 3 major stories, I would say Planet of the Ood third,
Mhm.
Doctor's Wife second,
Yeah.
and the Impossible Planet, Satan Pit first. Because I liked that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so slight change of tact. Which of the villains that we've seen introduced in New Who would you most like to see return? I know which ones I think.
We were saying Whispermen, weren't we?
Oh, Whispermen would be good, yeah.
Whispermen would be good.
Just because they were really cool looking
Yeah.
and we never saw much of them.
I think maybe it might be a bit too late now, but I thought we'd get one more Weeping Angel story.
Yeah.
Not that I'd necessarily want it to happen, because it might be a bit forced, but I thought personally that Stephen Moffat would do a Weeping Angel
Yeah.
episode for his final series.
It still wouldn't surprise me if they play a part at some point during the regeneration episode.
Yeah, they probably will, because they were really, what Stephen Moffat was famous for
Yeah.
creating.
And the ones, the I think probably what I would most like to see come back of all would probably be the Sycorax.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because they were really good looking villains.
Vrastranada.
Yes, see, I've still not seen the Vashta Narada one, but they look really cool, yeah.
Yeah, no. I'd like both of those to come back.
Yeah.
You can see those in Classic Doctor's New Monsters.
Yes, that's right.
The second volume coming in June.
Excellent.
With the Vrastranada and the 4th Doctor. And
Excellent,
the 8th
yeah.
Doctor.
So, have you got any more thoughts on monsters from New Who? What's your general thought on them?
I think there's not really as many so far that have really been notable for Doctor Who.
So we were talking, weren't we, about, because we were watching the Silurians today, and we were talking about how John Pertwee's era introduced a lot of real classic monsters into the fold.
Sontarans, the Master, the Silurians, the Autons,
Yeah, Sea Devils.
Sea Devils. Yeah. I
And,
always
we've-
forget the sea diff.
And we've not really had that with New Who at all.
Definitely the Capaldi era.
Yeah.
If you focus on the first two series, you've not really had any. But there have been some cool villains, but one-off cool villains. Yeah, I'd really like to see those back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Does
So
that wrap up our,
yes, it does.
our monster analogy?
We'll move on then to our review this
Okay.
week. It's a half review this week. We're going to be touching on the first 4 parts of Doctor Who and the Silurians. So then, as I just said, we're coming up now to our final section of the show. In part 1 out of 2 of our review of the second John Pertwee story, the 7-part episode Doctor Who and the Silurians. Can you give us a little bit of a synopsis, please, Deagle?
I will. I'll keep the synopsis fairly brief because,
Yes.
as we know, we'll do a full review next week once we watch the whole thing. But there's some experiments going on at a nuclear power research centre based near Wenley Moor, and they're getting these mysterious drains on their power sources, and also various members of the staff are suffering from what can only be described as sort of like mental breakdowns. Unit are called in to investigate, and as a result of that, the Third Doctor, as he's currently marooned on Earth and
Yes.
acting as the chief scientist, is it, for Unit?
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Together with his companion Liz, meet up with Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, star of the Lethbridge Stewart novels, at the plant. They find this dead worker who's got these giant claw marks on his body, and a colleague of his whose mind has been so badly affected by the incident that he's sort of reverted back to sort of caveman status and is drawing these primitive cave drawings of these reptilian creatures on the wall. So the Doctor's basically trying to investigate a little bit further as to what these are. At the same point, you've got this character called Major Baker, who's the sort of chief security man for the plant, and his own sort of idea is that there's somebody trying to sabotage the centre. But the Doctor, meanwhile, has come up with his own sort of analysis of it and discovers that some of the logs of the nuclear reactor's operation have been tampered with. As a result of that, the Doctor makes his way into the Wenley Moor caves, and he's attacked by this sort of old prehistoric dinosaur type creature. But just as it's about to bump off the Doctor, it's called off by this strange, weird whistling sound. It's a bit like that, isn't it? So, as a result of that, the rest of a number of people go in to try and help investigate, and one of the unit soldiers is attacked by what is turns out to be a Silurian, but at this stage we don't really know that. This lizard type creature that runs out into the open air and goes about sort of attacking numerous people on the
see it from the
surface.
perspective of the third eye.
We do, don't we? Yeah, that's right, which is really good. What becomes quite clear is that the Silurians aren't really a warlike race. Although there are a few people bumped off by the Silurians, they're purely attacked in self-defence, really. So I think that's probably all I will say about it for the
Okay.
moment. If that's enough.
Yes,
to
of
get
course.
going.
We'll talk about it fully next week in our
Yeah.
descriptions.
So what's your thoughts on it?
I think it's a very good story, and it's very different in terms of the plot and the monster.
Yep.
I like the Silurians, and they are one of the most interesting villains because basically they're not all evil.
No, that's
And
right.
I would say this is from John Pertwee's best series, his strongest series, his first series, so The Doctor and Liz, which is a really strong series, possibly the second strongest in Doctor Who history.
Yeah, I was going to say actually, you could put a good argument to say that it's right, certainly right up there, isn't it?
Yeah.
As being one of the great periods of Doctor Who.
I would say, yeah, it is. It's Spearhead from Space, Silurians, Ambassadors of Death, Inferno. 4 absolutely amazing stories. And Silurians is very, very good. And it's the best Homo Reptilia story, I would suggest.
Yeah.
And it is very clever.
I do like the way they filmed it. I really like, you touched on it just a minute ago, but the fact that they film a lot of it from the viewpoint of the Silurian.
Yeah, the third eye perspective.
And I like the idea. I like the way, and they've done this a few times over the years with Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Probably never more effectively than what they do here, though.
Yeah.
The whole idea of the fact that although the humans aren't really the humans are sort of like set down as being the good guys. Actually, there's quite a moral dilemma at times as to when we overstep the mark on this through destruction of these races.
Yeah.
We saw it more recently, I think, in Kill the Moon, where the Doctor can't decide and leaves Clara and whatever the other character was called to actually determine the fate of the Earth.
Lundvik, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of did it a bit in the Zygon one.
Yeah.
In a different way.
And certainly they did as well, I think, in the Cold Blood.
Yeah, Hungry Earth, Cold
Hungry
Blood.
Earth, yeah.
Yeah, so they've done it a few times.
Yeah. What do you think of the Silurians themselves?
I really like them. We only see them for the first time at the end of the third part, so at this point, I mean, this is one of the ones I've been wanting to watch on the randos because I haven't seen it for a long time. At this point, we've only seen them in one full episode. I'm looking forward to seeing them more, but the Silurians are very good. They look much better than the ones in the new series, and I wish. I mean, they're a bit tacky, but I prefer their design than the new ones. Yeah.
Where does Liz rank for you? Because I really like Liz.
I do too. She's very underrated, I would say.
Yeah.
And I think with Doctor Who, they sort of wanted to get rid of her because they wanted someone who was just a bit dumb, didn't they?
They wanted sort of a screamy
sort of
companion.
Yeah, one that asked a lot of questions every single second and wasn't really that clever. But Liz is a bit different, and she's a very good companion, I think.
One of the things I really liked about the first 4 parts that we've seen is that for 2 parts of it, we didn't see the Silurians.
Yeah, that is very clever how they do
we
that.
saw bits of them, didn't we? We'd see it, as mentioned earlier on, we'd see some of it from the eyes of the Silurian.
You can see their hands.
Yeah, that's it. But we didn't see until... What was the first time we saw it? I think it was episode 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And not even straight away in episode 3.
No.
It's the first time we see it when it attacks the Doctor. I think it
cliffhanger.
Which is, the cliffhanger of 3.
Yeah.
So actually, nearly halfway through the story.
Yeah.
Just under halfway through the story. We haven't
It's a
actually
very
seen
slow story. But it's
Yeah.
very clever. I love the 7-part ones in this series.
Yeah,
It's very good.
It's slow without being
Too slow.
too slow. The pace is actually quite good.
Yeah.
Albeit that it is quite slow.
For a 7-parter, it is a good pace. Anything else you'd like to touch on?
Anything else this day? I think we'll probably save most of it till next week.
Yeah.
No, I think that's probably
Pertwee's good.
That's probably about enough to say. I like the unit ones.
Me too. I think they're the strongest in the John Pertwee ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I do think that, however much we love the Brigadier, there's times when he's a fool.
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
Yeah. But there we have it.
Okay. So, should we end there?
Yeah, we'll obviously talk a bit more detail about it next week. Next week we'll give our full roundup of the review, and we'll also do our 2 good, 2 bad.
Yes, that's good, and our scores. Yeah. Next week is episode 205, and we will be starting off series 10 anticipation in full style with our What We Know guide.
Ooh.
So an episode by episode guide to the upcoming series.
That sounds good.
Who.
What else do we have? We'll be rounding up the whole of the Silurians.
We'll be talking about the latest Doctor Who news and views.
And we will be pressing the magic randomizer for the last time before season 10 starts.
Yes.
Will we not?
Yeah, no, it will
Only
be.
one more magic randomizer
One
to go.
more randomizer to go.
Yeah.
And the next one will be in July. So
Yeah, long way.
So that's it for March, by the way, in our shows.
Yep.
We'll be back in April for a couple more shows too.
Interesting.
5 more shows.
Excellent. I'm Dr. Cool. Thank you very much for listening.
I'm Lewis Moon. Thank you very much for listening.
We
Contact.
go, yeah, that's fair to say. I only thought about the contacts.
Okay, Doctor. So how to contact us? At Twitter at drwhotimeun, as in N space, where you can talk to us about anything Doctor related. This week's news, the Silurians, monsters, series 10, new Doctor rumours, anything. You can also contact for general geekiness.
Yeah, you can come to me for that. I'm Dr. General Geekiness, and my Twitter is Mark with a C, so it's Mark Freak Geek.
Plus, you can get to us at mrlewismoonadventures.weebly.com for our website, YouTube at Miss Lewis Moon, Podomatic, Dr. Time and Space, and iTunes and the Podcast Alliance. You can also see past shows of this podcast.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yes, I've been Lewis Moon.
I've been Dr. Cool.
We'll see you next time, same time.
Same space.
Goodbye.